thanks. I'll just briefly touch base. So my role is NSO product management. Basically, I'm doing product management for NSO platform. All the things that you heard about today. Very proud of that, and happy to hear all about the different customer engagement we have. And we've also seen a few previews of what's happening going forward. A few other things that I really would like to highlight, what we're looking into as very important cornerstones, is really the user experience of NSO. And when we talk about user experience, we have quite a few different personas using NSO. We talk about all from developers to network engineers, integrators, and system admins. But when we look at the developers, which is really in the key of delivering new services quickly, we're looking into the tool chains and how to also be able to provide graphical tooling to develop new services more quickly, which is a key part to actually use the benefits of NSO. Moving on, we also talked about interoperability, and that is really about now when we see that the market taking off with netconf young devices. NSO is enabled as using YANG natively, and we've been promoting using netconf for ages. We see it's happening. We also then publish a netconf young interoperability program. So when you are looking into deploy new devices or existing devices using netconf young, also please direct your device vendors to our netconf young interoperability program that's now available to the entire globe, I would say, where we provide the expertise and knowledge from the Cisco NSO team to anyone that would like to have a proper netconf young interface, so you can actually use pure programmability features of the entire network. A few other things that we never told you have heard about Christian talking about observability. You can see that the Christian session as an excellent preview what we actually will continue to add into the NSO product. And final but not least, regarding scaling, Tisell talked about their deployments. We grow with our customers, and then we actually add new capabilities within the core of the NSO that actually will not be visible. You will just see how the throughput and being able to manage more and more devices will actually grow. That on top of that, toolings and also how to adapt standard things like in various larger environments. So those are the few things that I would like to highlight. And to help you on that journey, I think Jason will talk about how to engage with the community.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jason Belk, and I'm the NSO product team, and I am the NSO developer evangelist. I help people out in the community get up to speed on how to develop with NSO, whether they've done that before or they've been working with NSO for a while. I worked with NSO myself when I was in Cisco IT, working with network automation in the campus and branch team, so I know what you all are feeling when you're trying to figure things out and grow with the product. So the first major thing I wanted to announce and discuss is new sandboxes for NSO. So this is something I wish I had when I was starting out, was we have now both an always on and a reservable sandbox within DevNet. So what that really means is that for the reservable sandbox, you can go onto DevNet really anytime. I use it myself every week. And you can click in there, basically get an NSO instance for a week all to your own with iOS XE, XR, Nexus, and ASA devices in a full topology with a jump host server, a system install, NSO, and lots of other goodies. And so that environment gives you a consistent place to learn NSO, blow things up if you want, and just grow in your knowledge of how to use the product. All of the examples, at least that I create and I put up there, as well as the labs we have on DevNet, are designed to be used in that environment so you can have a consistent place to work with. We also have an always-on sandbox, which is read-only. The purpose of that one is especially for people who are pursuing those DevNet certifications, where they're looking at NSO and they want to hit the APIs to figure out how the application works. So if you have somebody new on your team who's just learning NSO and you don't have some type of lab environment, using either one of those sandboxes and the tutorials that we're creating would be a great resource for you to check out. We also have new docs and product API information. This is something that Nils and other people on our team have helped a lot with to get this rolled out, where basically, historically, the NSO documentation was bundled with the application. When you installed it, you could unpack it and get all the PDFs and information for the product. That's still the case, but we also now have that available on the public internet on DevNet for people to peruse both the product documentation, all those guides you might have seen before if you've used NSO, as well as the different API documentation. We also have best practices on DevNet. I know Christian has written some of those on scaling, as well as other people on the team that you should really check out. And I've also been hard at work, as well as other people on the team, to build new labs and examples for everybody to dig deeper in NSO or just get started for those of you who are just figuring out what's going on. We have a Learn NSO the Easy Way that works directly with that sandbox I was discussing, as well as a new CI/CD lab. So this CI/CD lab uses GitLab, and it shows you how to do your net DevOps with NSO. And this is something really exciting. We're going to announce it soon, but it's already live online. So if you want to check it out, you can go into the DevNet Learning Labs and find it on there. So one other minor thing I wanted to mention that regards to NSO and programmability is I know some of you use Ansible to drive your NSO. We've also done a lot of work recently to update the Ansible modules that will interact with NSO. And it's now officially an Ansible Galaxy collection and conforming with how Ansible has progressed. So all in all, there's lots of really neat stuff on DevNet. You should check it out. And if you haven't before, we'd love to hear feedback on areas that you'd love to learn more about as well. And now I'd love to pass it to Omar or whoever else is going to take us home.
I'm batting cleanup, but both you and Nils had to do all the work, so it's fitting you got to go first. So my name's Omar. I lead the product management team for NSO. So I want to take a slightly different take. So we call NSO a platform. And really, my couple of minutes here, I just want to urge people to go out there and build things. Go explore the platform. It's not a product. It's really more of a, a sandbox, a toolkit to go try and solve business problems. So from our perspective, we spent a lot of time on the team building the resources to support you, right? So we have DevNet and all the things that Jason just went through in terms of sandbox and documentation and learning maps and sample code and those kinds of things. Nicholas, in his spare time, runs a DevHub community where you can get questions answered. Pretty much everyone that you heard from today from our NSO team is an active participant. Our architects are on there. A lot of seasoned customers are also participants. You see some metrics is, about 84% of the posts get responses and solutions are, usually delivered about in 2 days. And then finally, we have this event, we have these events to get people together and get a good mix of customer stories and technical deep dives and labs and those kinds of things. We'll continue to do these virtually someday, fingers crossed, we'll go back to having in-person events again. But really it is kind of the opportunity to come together and mingle and talk to other users and talk to folks. So, we have all these resources and I really urge folks to take advantage of it and go out there and explore the platform and use it to, solve little problems and then, start solving bigger and bigger problems. So with that, I will hand it back to, I'm not sure, Mark or Nicholas. I think we have some questions to work through.
Yeah, we have time for one or two questions. So the first question I'll ask is, where do you, the product team, see NSO in the next 5 years? And what do you think are the most critical things that are going to get us there? Maybe Nils, Petter, you want to take that one?
Yeah, Nils, I think you take that one.
I'll start. So I briefly touched base about that, and it's really to be able to, for all of you, to be able to develop your services more quickly, and we see it being taken off for different domains, definitely. And then, of course, how to redeploy that for the entire organization on new segments. Of course, everybody today talks. Well, we're talking about ages for cloud, but it's also about how to be able to use excellent working machines in different deployment environments. I think, Omar, you also would like to add something about this?
No, not me. I think we have the advantage of having a fairly mature product. So, a lot of what we're focused on is not necessarily features as much as things like we've talked about today: observability, scale, ease of use, really kind of making the platform faster, easier to use. Those kinds of things is a lot of what the focus is, what the focus is on.
All right, I'm going to try and squeeze one more question in. Thanks, Omar and Nils. So one for Jason.
Sure.
What do you see that developers first taking on NSO struggle with, but they shouldn't really worry about because it gets easier?
Yeah, I think the big thing that came to mind for what you're talking about is data modeling. So new developers to NSO, I'm thinking especially network engineers, it's a new concept to work with what is a data model and how does that impact how I code, the benefits of it. But I think especially conceptually, because NSO is so advanced in how it handles its APIs, like understanding how all the different Yang types then map to different representations of those types in the APIs. I think once you understand Yang in your mind and you've gotten practice with it and you understand how NSO represents those different types, then things really start to fall into place.